So this is my ICOM 495 project update 2. Okay, so for my updated project description, I intend to create a private online community for the members of the Alpha Phi organization at Ball State, where they can communicate and just kind of have everything they need in just one organized place. The problem that this is addressing is the lack of efficient communication and more the lack of efficient communication tools in such a large organization such as this one. And so this online community would include elements such as an editable calendar, documents to download, links, and announcements, and more. So going back, my requirements for usability, I want efficiency, effectiveness, and learnability. And for the user experience, I want it to be a rewarding and motivating experience for the user. And so I started with digital prototyping, and I had 3 different prototypes, 3 different alternatives, and so this is the first one. I started with just a basic header where I'll have Alpha Phi at the top. If this is clicked, it can take them back to the home page as sort of a link for that. There's a pretty clear navigation system across the top. I do have different elements such as home, about, announcements, chapter and emails, a calendar, different links, and frequently asked questions. And so these 3 images show just some examples of what these pages would look like. There's a recent updates bar on the side, and then on the main page it would just have a scroll through of the most recent updates, and then this would be the announcements page, and so it has more in detail of each weekly announcements. And then the next one is my favorite page. It's the calendar, and I really like this concept because we've definitely had issues in the past where they'll send out the calendar at the beginning of the year, and a lot of the events, will have time to be announced or location to be announced, and they never end up sending new ones out. And so this people will be able to go in and edit as events change over time, so people always will have access to the most updated calendar without having to, resend and do all of that. And so my next prototype, I wanted this one to be more of a mobile-friendly version, just because I know a lot of people do use a lot of different websites on their phone now. And so I have the same header as the previous prototype. I do want to keep that same kind of theme going. I had a hamburger stack navigation so that it's just a little more concise on a mobile device. There's a slider that would go through recent updates and just sort of a quick, like, 1-sentence description instead of having to scroll through. And then some other pages. The calendar page was more concise here and a more weekly. That'd be easier to view on a phone. And then my third prototype I have right here, and this I brought in a concept where the user has more of an account experience, and so they're able to do things like edit their personal info, password settings, over on the first image, the My Account tab there. And so it would be more of a where they have a little more control over the site as well. They can contribute to the site instead of just logging in and viewing it. And so I really like this concept because I think it gives the viewers or the users more control and more accessibility to what goes on with it, and they'd be able to kind of collaborate a little more. And so the second picture is a blog concept where all users can write different stuff, so such as freshman year 101, and give advice and tips to the current freshmen, just different stuff like that, where to find an initiation close, and, if somebody wanted to write an article on the best places to get things for an affordable price, and that would be great advice to the other sisters. And then the calendar, they can save things to My Events, and make it more of a personal experience. Okay, so with the prototype testing, some of the things that I wanted to test were, do the users know what to do? And then I had a set of tasks that I want them to be able to complete, because then I'll know if that's doable or not. And so some of those were to find out what time chapter is on Sundays, if they can find out the answer to their question. And so, they would go to the calendar for that, or the frequently asked question page, and then to find out when it was founded, they'd go to the about page. And if they can find the upcoming events, they'd go to the calendar page. And so what I found with Prototype 1, main thing was there was thorough navigation with easy accessibility. With Prototype 2, also that hamburger stack was thorough. And then a major pro for Prototype 3 was the more user involvement. And so that's definitely something pieces that I want to take from each that I have put into my digital prototype, and so I'm definitely going to use a combination of all the different pros. And so here is my digital prototype. This is what it looks like. I'm eventually going to, I'm working on getting a more exciting logo put into the top left here that I can put I want to pull the yellow from this image and from the images that I'll use throughout it, and so that's what'll be there. It'll be a link back to the home page. The home is going to have a feed with recent updates and a Twitter feed as well from the organization. Navigation's right here. There's an about page. This will have information. There's going to be pictures of each of the pledge classes. That's the seniors there. And it'll have information, a roster, stuff about the specific chapter at Ball State's founding, and then stuff about the international organization as well. My favorite page here is the calendar. Here they can go through and see, they can search for events on certain dates, and find events there. And so these are the events for April. They'll see when there's chapter, PHC, different photo shoot, Mom's Day, and things like that. And then when they click on one, it takes them to this page. So it says formal chapter, April 3rd, 7 to 8 p.m. Please wear pin attire. They can add it to their Google Calendar. And then there's details, who's in charge, so if anyone has questions, who they should contact. And then the location, it even shows a Google map, an AJ175. And so there's that. The next page is the forms. So these are documents they can download if they need them, which these are the ones we need multiple times throughout the year, and people are constantly asking, oh, can you resend that to me? Can you resend the community service form? I don't have a copy of it. I can't find it. And so instead of being able to do that, we can just direct everybody to this one place where they'll all be. So if they click that, here's the community service form. They can download that, save it, print it, and then, travel forms for formals, they can fill those out and have those all in one place. A philanthropy reporting form, just different things that people, don't have easy access to all the time, and so they, instead of having to go to OSL or go find them through that, they can get them right here. And so the blog, this will be a page where everyone can post their own posts, and so all users, not just the admins, will be able to create content for this. So for example, an Initiation 101. This is great for the freshmen who have not been through initiation. It says, what to wear, tells people exactly what to wear, rules on shoes, jewelry, and that it's a very special time, and that initiated members should practice songs, and they can go in more depth than this as well, like where to buy dresses, what to expect, things like that. And so just having that kind of information could be helpful. Recruitment 101, they are just now beginning recruitment practices this April, and so that's going to be great for the younger pledge classes who have not gone through that yet. Also, a frequently asked questions page. All users can contribute to this. They can comment. They'll be able to comment on the bottom, and those can be added in. Such as, how many community service hours to do this semester. It's a question that comes up often. Okay, well, we have 10 this semester, so 5 before Sponto Dance, which is in the middle of the semester, and then 5 before the formal, which is at the end. How many library hours? How often is formal chapter? and just different questions like that. And this list can go on and on. Okay, and so with the digital prototype, some questions I wanted to ask, some main ones, I wanted to know if they were Greek affiliated. This is important because this is for Greek people, and so I wanted to see how their take would be on it as members. Gender, I asked this, it's not as important. This specific site is for females, of course, because it is for the sorority, but this type of site could be used for any student organization, so gender is not as important, I just wanted to know. And then age, mostly this is for college age students, 18 to 22 or so. Some advisors would use it as well. But yeah, so I wanted to know age. And then some other tasks that I wanted them to be able to do. Find this week's chapter meeting, what to wear to initiation, email, how to sign up for email notifications, and a couple different ones, and then if they were able to complete it, and if not, to explain. And then some ranks, some scales there if the navigation was easy to use, if the content was useful and informative, and then if they were confused or stuck at any point, I wanted to know that. And so a summary of those results, 100% of the participants were Greek, 80% were female, and 20% were male. The average age was 21 years old. Users were able to complete all of the tasks I had except for the question about updating their profile. There's a couple charts on here that show the scales that I had, and so I got some positive results from these, saying that the navigation was easy to follow and to use, and that the content was useful and informative, as you can see there. And so moving forward, my main goal right now is to create a very clear way for users to access account information and login information, and so that's just the main thing I'm really working on right now. I'm testing different plugins for accounts in WordPress. I've tried BuddyPress, but I'm having a little bit of trouble with it, and so I'm just looking at different ones that maybe might be easier or that I've just not thought about yet, and so I'm also, of course, going to continue adding a lot more detailed content.